Welcome to Accelerate for Life, helping you achieve your dreams faster. And take your business to the next level. This world's not going to slow down, so why should you? So grab your surfboard and get ready to ride the tsunami of success with Accelerate for Life with Denise Mackey and Ronnie Tsunami.
All right. Happy Wednesday. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on Accelerate for Life. I am your host, Denise Mackey.
And Ronnie Tsunami, aloha, Tiki Teki in the house. How you doing, Denise?
Did we come up with my name that I'm going to do?
The Mac.
The Mac Attack?
The Mac Attack. I like it.
Can I do that even though there's a sports show with Mac Attack? You're my expert. You're my marketing expert.
Think about
Can
this.
I do this?
But I'm not a lawyer. There's the catch. So I can't tell you what can you or can you not do with name. Is it trademarked? I don't know. So I'm just going to call you the Mackey.
The Mackey.
The Mackey.
The Mackey. All right, we'll talk about that. Speaking of lawyers, on the show today, we have a lawyer. I might need to get his name and his number and call him later about this. But we have Anthony Diaz on the show today. He is a divorce lawyer and mediator, and he's going to talk about how to create win-win situations when you get a divorce. We also have author N.K. Navarro with talking about her first book that she just published or is getting ready to publish, August 27th. Yay! We're going to have a book release party. It's called Everdeen. And then we have John Waller with Contact Hero, which I'm excited about this technology because you explained it to me, and it's so cool. And I was just thinking about how I need this the other day. I do.
Well, we'll have a good time, and John's always a blast. He's he's out on the West Coast, and he's known as Inspector Gadget. So I'm the Tiki Teki on the East Coast. He's Inspector Gadget on the West Coast. So we kind of tag team on things. He's a fun guy.
I need a nickname. Everybody has nicknames.
It's what it is, and this is food for thought as we talk about branding. For a business, you have to be known as the expert in something. There's so many people out there, and what is your brand? So as you listen to us and hear these people and our guests, you'll notice that we try to create something that creates a brand, something memorable. Ronnie Tsunami, the Tiki Teki, gives you an island feel. That's what I go by, and being technology oriented makes sense. Being from Hawaii, Tiki makes sense. John being Inspector Gadget, he works with a lot of different gadgets and specializes in the sales arena of how to use gadgets for sales, and that's what we talk about, Contact Hero. Denise, what is your specialty?
I hate when you put me on the spot like that. You're my marketing branding guru, and you're asking me, what is my specialty?
We'll have to go to lunch. I have a few ideas, but I don't want to talk about it online right now.
All right, so now's the perfect time to go to break. Thank you for joining Accelerate for Life. If you are listening by your computer, also check out our website. It's accelerateforlife.com, and we'll be back after this short commercial break.
Hi, everyone. Join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m., helping you achieve your dreams faster and take your business to the next level. This world's not going to slow down, so why should you? Join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WGIV, the soul of Charlotte.
All right, tell me about that ghetto remedy you got, James. What you got?
When I was a young man growing up, me and my brothers and I, we had these things that were growing our head. There were spots where our hair come out, and they were called tetters.
Tetters. I know tetters, yeah. You know the tetters?
That's right. But guess what our remedy was for that?
What?
We had to go out and urine in a ball, and they poured the urine on your head.
Oh, wow.
Oh. But my question is, do you have to use your own pee, or could anybody just pee on your head and get rid of it? So anybody can pee on your head? But would it cure you, like if I had peed on your head, if I was your big brother, if I was your big brother and you had tetters and I said, I don't want mama to find out and I peed on your head, would it have worked?
With me being a young boy at that time, I don't guess it really would have mattered.
Right there. You know what, George? But I'm with you. Can I tell you what I was thinking? What if it was your old uncle's pee or something? Somebody who liked to drink the night before?
Old granddad pee.
Yeah.
It's the Doug Banks Show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. till 7 p.m.
It's the Doug Banks Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What up, Charlotte? This is Beezy. Tune in each and every Saturday night at 8 p.m. for Hip Hop Hysteria with me, Beezy Baby, as your host. favorite hip-hop, new and old school. It's the Hip-Hop Takeover. With guest DJs each and every Saturday night. So while you figuring out what you're wearing, let me help you get your mind right. At 8 p.m. every Saturday night on the Soul of Charlotte. WGIV. Let's go!
WGIV.
Kicking, you got it, baby. Hip-hop and R&B.
You got it.
And New Orleans. You got it.
WGIV.
That's right.
Keep it locked.
Right here.
103.3, the soul of Charlotte.
All right, thanks for joining us again. I am Denise Mackey with Accelerate for Life on WGIV 103.3 FM, along with my wonderful, stunning co-host, Ronnie Tsunami.
Aloha.
Our next guest is Anthony Diaz. He is an attorney specializing in family law. He has been an attorney for 15 years. While doing this, we should pay attention because we never know where we're going to be, Ronnie. Love you, Chris. He saw all the ins and outs of divorce while he was, mediating these and all the troubles that it can cause. And he decided to become, 2 years ago, a divorce coach, and his motto is to figure out how to help people through the divorce process and make it a win-win situation for all. Now, I struggle with this topic because I've seen people get divorced.
Have you been divorced, Denise?
No.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it wouldn't be pretty.
See, I've been divorced, and I'm not sure that was a win-win situation.
You have been divorced.
Yes.
Huh. So, Anthony Diaz, thanks for joining us today.
Well, it's great to be on with both of you. Thank you so much.
So, you were a divorce lawyer or family law, technically, for 15 years, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me about some of your experiences that kind of led you into what you're doing today?
Well, it's interesting because in helping people to not only resolve their divorces as an attorney, but as a coach, it really started even before I was practicing family law, and that was going through my own divorce. And it was a difficult experience. But the interesting thing was, as an attorney, which I was at the time, I thought it was going to be a piece of cake. I'm an attorney. I know how to handle this. And I was really surprised how difficult it was for me to be able to go through the process. And at that point, I decided that I needed to help people to go through the process easier and with less emotion, because if it was as difficult as it was for me, I could imagine how it is for people who don't have a legal background. So that really started me to help and work with people to look at divorce differently and to make it into a positive outcome for them.
And why was it so difficult for you, do you think? Because you had all the things you needed. You were a lawyer. Is it because of the emotions?
Absolutely. It was in any divorce, and people who have gone through it know exactly what I mean. There's a lot of emotion involved, and it's emotion because of a loss, emotion from guilt and maybe some shame, and you have emotions from the other side. And it was very difficult for me to separate myself because I was in it, and it was very stressful for me because I wasn't able to know how to handle that part, because I was just looking at it from a legal standpoint and not from an emotional standpoint, and that really makes a difference.
And is that why people hang on to silly little things like, a dog or a certain piece of furniture or something silly, and they end up arguing over this stuff for a year?
Yeah, it happens all the time, and much of that is because it's not really about the dog. It's not really about the stuff. There are other things going on behind the scenes with them emotionally. It triggers a lot of other life events, things that have happened in your past, growing up and childhood, and they get triggered by another major event, which divorce is, and people get caught up in that, but they're not even aware that it's because of some other baggage and unfinished business that's really getting in the way.
So then 2 years ago, you decided to go, you're still a practicing lawyer, correct?
Yes.
And you decided to move into more of a coaching aspect. So tell me about that, and how does that work when you're also an attorney?
Well, it's interesting. It started out by working with my own clients, And we started looking at, because I was amazed at the resistance that people were putting into trying to resolve a case and make it easier. And I was starting to sit down with them and say, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why is this so important to you? Why are you holding on to this? Why are we not resolving this case easier? And by just talking with my clients and really exploring with them what's going on, I realized that there was other things non-legal going on that was really getting in the way. And once we explored what that was, and they were able to identify what it was and be able to take personal responsibility for how they were feeling and what outcome they wanted, the case is just resolved. I mean, it was astounding, and so now I've been able to coach people from around the world with their divorce issues to help them through the divorce process, not as an attorney, though I have the attorney background, but as a coach to help them through the process. And it's been happening with great results. I'm happy to say. Now,
what would you say are the top 3 things that you keep repeating as far as the situation? If you had to nail down just the 3 things you say over and over to people in order to have them accelerate forward, move past the divorce towards that win-win situation.
Great, it's a great question, and I go over a lot of things with my clients, but I would say the top 3 would be and probably in no order, but one of them is to ask them if they are ready to take personal responsibility of their life, which the divorce is part of it. Do you want to take charge of the situation that you've been giving the power away to your attorney, to your soon-to-be ex-spouse? Are you ready to take a personal responsibility? And if people are, I ask them to visualize and talk about how you'd like this process to go. If you want it to go easy, let's talk about that. Let's visualize that. What does that look like? And then the third thing is, how do you want the situation to end up? What does the future look like for you? And really, the purpose is to get them to go within, to see what's going on inside, to come up with a vision of how they would like the divorce to be resolved, and how do they want their life to look like in the future, so they take emphasis off of the emotion of the divorce and start to look at their own life and how they can make this process better and their life better.
And you're listening to Accelerate for Life, and our guest, Anthony Diaz, an attorney based out of Orlando, who is also a coach on creating win-win situations in a divorce. Anthony, what is the longest time that you have worked with a couple getting a divorce, and they just couldn't figure it out? What's the longest? 1 year, 2 years?
How about 3 years?
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was one of my oldest cases, and unfortunately, by the time I got involved, it was so intertwined with people not wanting to let go of their own positions. It had to go to trial. It was unfortunate because everybody spent a lot of money, but it was at the end of the case when I sat down with my client and we talked about it. They really regretted, because they were able to look at it unemotionally at that point, how long it took, and they wish that they would have been able to listen to my advice and to kind of look at a better way to resolve that. And sometimes you learn that during the case, and sometimes people need the experience of the case to learn that there was a better way to do it, and I could have done it better.
I can only imagine that was hundreds of thousands of dollars in a divorce.
It was ridiculous.
And you're kind of bucking the system, Anthony, if I might say, because there's often people that say the only person that wins in a divorce is the lawyer. right? The attorneys are the ones that really
definitely
win.
In that 3-year suit.
There's no win-win for the couple or in the single people.
After 3 years, there's like nothing else to split.
Right.
All the money's gone.
And believe me, when you hear those horror stories, they're true. And I've gotten a lot of interesting comments from other attorneys because not everyone has the same viewpoint, and attorneys will be the ones to win at the end if their clients allow them to. And my purpose, and since my own divorce, I've made it my own mission to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't mind getting paid. We all don't mind being paid for what we do. But at the end of the day, especially when there's children involved, at the end of the day, what is more important? Would you rather keep what's left of your resources and settle this amicably and have a better outcome for your children and not let them see all the animosity? People have that choice, and my purpose is to make sure people know that, and it's hard to listen to that sometimes when you're embroiled in the emotion, and that's why I'd like to help them take the emotion out of that situation so they can look at it a little bit clearer.
And save a lot of money for them where they can make it a win-win.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a short break, but Anthony, for people that are not in Orlando, can you do coaching over Skype or phone, or how would they get in touch with you?
They can go to my website, which is anthonyjdiaz.com, and there's a way to contact me there. I do coaching on the phone, by Skype. We're starting to do some group coaching in Google Hangout. So with technology, it's I could be anywhere, and they could be anywhere, and we can do some serious coaching.
All right, so we're going to go to a quick break, and Anthony will be back after our commercial, and I'm sure we can do one quick question of his top 3 of something or another when we come back. We'll give you a little quiz on what you've experienced again. Thanks for listening. You're listening to Accelerate for Life on WGIV.
Charlotte, Rocky, Gastonia. You asked for it, so we're gonna give it to you.
You think you know sport? You don't know sport.
Let's talk sport with Ivan Key.
Ivan Key is like a walking sports almanac.
It's rough, it's raw, it's real.
I'm of the opinion, hands down, LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, and I got the facts to prove it.
Let's talk sports. Fridays at 1 p.m. with Ivan Key on the Soul of Charlotte. WGIB. The BJ Murphy Morning Show, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Hello there.
Hello, hi. I'm a BJ Murphy fan, but this goes out to Big Booty Julie. Big Booty Julie, she rules, and she tried to take over the BJ Murphy show. She always has to go into the gym, working out. Let us hear what BJ got to say.
Who are you talking about?
What's your name?
Nani.
Who is Big Booty Julie on the show?
The little short one with the big booty always has to go into the gym, working
That's
out.
me.
And she rules.
Thank you.
Rule, Big Booty Julie. I'm going to the gym.
That's why I said, hey. Hey, wait, let me ask you a question, babe. Let me ask you a question.
BJ gotta say.
I just want to ask you one question.
You ain't asking me nothing.
I just want to know, when's the last time you got some? When is the last time you got some?
BJ Murphy Morning Show, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on WGIV 103.3 FM, the Soul of Charlotte.
Lockwood Development Center is a home away from home where we develop young minds and provide quality first and second shift childcare in a loving, caring environment. Their curriculum features Japanese and Spanish lessons and so much more.
They offer small classroom sizes along with nutritious snacks and meals. Summer's almost here. Let your child join Lockwood's Adventure Summer Camp, a fun, affordable, and safe way for your child to enjoy the summer.
Call Lockwood Development Center at 980-355-0831. 980-355-0831.
Hey Charlotte, have you ever gone to a wedding or an event and saw someone trying to take pictures with a cell phone or a tablet? Don't settle for what you think is good enough. Call the professionals at PPT Photography.
PPT Photography is a full-service photographer. Anything from weddings, events, corporate headshots, printing on site to fashion. PPT Photography does it all. We do what your cell phone can't. Give us a call at 704-293-7459 or visit us at pptphotography.com and mention you heard about us on Shake It Up for the best best in Charlotte photographers, it's pptphotography.com. When you celebrate it, we capture it.
WGIV.
This is Barack Obama. This is Usher.
This Life Jennings right here.
What's happening? This your boy Trey Songz, baby. You know what it is.
You're listening to WGIV, the soul of Charlotte.
All right, welcome back to Accelerate for Life. I am Denise Mackey.
Ronnie Tsunami.
I'm going to get my name. We're going to talk about branding after lunch. All right, so we're with attorney Anthony J. Diaz, and you can find him on his website at anthonyjdiaz.com, and that's D-I-A-Z, by the way, not D-Y. And before we let you go, Anthony, I just wanted to ask you, what can divorced couples do to kind of take the emotion out of it and help this process and help accelerate their life and get back to moving forward?
The best thing that people can do when they're going through the divorce process is to spend time by themselves and to either meditate, do affirmations, whatever practice takes you inside to go within. And by doing so, it will help you to not only to breathe, and when you breathe, you can go inside and listen to your inner voice. Your inner voice has all the answers on how to solve the emotions of the divorce, and it'll help you take the emotions out of the divorce. So by having some quiet time together, you allow yourself to take the emotion out of this process and get in touch with the answers that you already have. So if you'd like to get in touch with me, just go to my website, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anthony. Really appreciate your assistance. I was telling Denise, I wish I had you 15 years ago when I was going through my divorce.
Really good advice, too.
Yeah, really good.
Better late than never. Thank you so much, everybody.
And I'm going to say it again. I said it during break. You're doing a good thing for an attorney to focus on the couple and making it a win-win for them and not so much on the money. I applaud you.
I know life coaches out there that talk about helping people through a divorce, but it's always it's interesting to me to have the credibility of a divorce attorney kind of walking you through the steps. They've seen a lot and can talk about it from an objectional. Not objectional. I'm objective. I'm already talking legalese. Objectional. Objective.
And not subjective.
So thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Take care.
All right. Up next, we're going to have author N.K. Navarro in-house. She's in-house with us today. Woo! Talking about her first novel, Everdeen. So stay with us. You're listening to Accelerate for Life on WGIV 101.10. Hello. I can never get through 1 hour without messing up. Never. 103.3 FM. Thank you.
All right, tell me about that ghetto remedy you got, James. What you got?
When I was a young man growing up, me and my brothers and I, we had these things that were growing our head. There were spots where our hair come out, and they were called tettles.
Tetters.
I know tetters, yeah.
You know the tetters?
That's right. But guess what our remedy was for that?
What?
We had to go out and urine in a ball, and they poured the urine on your head.
Oh, wow.
But my question is, do you have to use your own pee, or could anybody just pee on your head and get rid of it? So anybody can pee on your head? But would it kill you, like if I had peed on your head, if I was your big brother, if I was your big brother and you had tetters and I said, I don't want mama to find out and I peed on your head, would it have worked?
With me being a young boy at that time, I don't guess it really would have mattered.
That's it right there. You know what, George? But I'm with you. Can I tell you what I was thinking? What if it was your old uncle's pee or something? Somebody you like to drink the night before?
Old granddad pee.
Yeah. It's the Doug Banks Show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. till 7 p.m.
It's the Doug Banks Show.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for Accelerate for Life. Again, I am Denise Mackey with Ronnie Tsunami, who's typing away on his phone. Gosh, what would we do without it? Everybody in the studio is typing away on their cell phones, except for my mute producer over there, who refuses to talk to me. Okay, up next.
103.3.
Yes, and I want to say sponsor plug. This is why I said 101, because we have a sponsor, Wellness One-on-One, that I was actually trying to plug, I think.
Subliminal messaging.
That's what it was. All right, in-house we have N.K. Navarro. She is author, philanthropist, entrepreneur, just an extraordinary person. Thank you for coming all the way down from Boston, Massachusetts.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you. You're releasing your first novel called Everdeen.
I am.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay,
and how you came to publish your first novel.
Fabulous. So, if you can't tell by my accent, I am not from Boston, Massachusetts. I am not a Yankee at all. I am actually from Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Ooh. So, definite Carolina girl here. So, this is not a visit. This is just a return home, if you will. And one
day we'll get you back.
I'm trying, baby. I'm trying. Y'all got to support this book, and we can see what we can do. So Everdeen came about as a short story. I travel a lot. I'm always on the go, and I love to write. I've always loved to write. I used to write little articles for a little magazine called Sea Settings, Destination Wedding Magazine, little on that years ago, way back when, and just never left the bug. The bug never left me, rather. And so came up with this short story, and I shared it with a few friends of mine. I think they're listening, Brooks Ford and Mrs. Danielle White, and they loved it. They were like, I need more. You got to flesh these characters out.
Oh, wow.
And then came Everdeen. Everdeen is a made-up city in South Carolina. In the novel, it says it's about 45 minutes outside of Greenville, about an hour and a half, too, from Atlanta, so smack dab in the middle. And it's told from the first-person point of view. Mm-hmm. It's all about women. It's all about women trying to figure out what's going on in this thing called life in a very, very small community. So this community of Everdeen doesn't even have cabs, just very, very small town.
Really small town.
Correct. It's a really small town where, there's more churches than gas stations.
Which is very typical for South Carolina.
Correct.
I can say that. I grew up in South Carolina as well.
Rock Vegas.
That's
right.
So what's going on in this novel? Because I know you have a series planned.
Yes.
And this is the first in the series, Everdeen.
Yes.
So what is going on with the main character in this one?
Well, the main characters. So again, 4 main characters, all speaking from the first person point of view, so you can really get inside what's going on in their minds and how they're seeing the world, right? Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk from the top. Miss Elaine Blanchard, she is the matriarch of the community, true Southern Belle, former president of the Junior League, all of that good stuff. And in her world, if she thinks it's right, it is, and everyone must adjust accordingly. Well, when you have children that don't uphold and don't believe in those standards, things get a little tricky. And so she is not above, paying off the town sheriff to get her her way.
I think I like her.
Oh, I love her.
Did you write her after me?
A little bit of you, a little bit of my Nina.
Listen, Ronnie, yes, everything is about me. We're going to learn this, and until you learn it, your life is going to be hard. Okay.
Is that why you got divorced first, Ronnie?
Oh, yeah.
You see what I did there? Full circle, Ronnie, full circle.
I got a lot of learning to do.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Listen here, Jay.
I would like to say that if it is going to be boys against girls, darlings, you will lose. Mm-hmm. Okay, no contest.
Here's what I learned. Yes.
You
are correct.
Well done, sir.
You've got two powerhouses in the studio.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about why did you self-publish this one?
Yes, I did.
Why did you go that route versus contacting a publisher? Because now you are going the typical former route of you've got a PR person,
right.
You're doing marketing and branding,
right.
But you decided the first step was going to be self-publishing.
Yes.
Why that route?
Well, the main reason was because when I started doing research and what it meant to be a published author, I didn't like the return on my investment. So, in other words,
you are a true business person.
You know it. So, with that said, I spent a whole year on this concept. And to get maybe a return of 25 to 30% back on something that I had put my heart and soul into just didn't sound right to me. So that was the main reason. The second reason is I want it to be mine in every sense of the word, and I wanted to be able to handle how the community actually was able to interact with it. So I want to go out in the community and shake hands. I don't want it to just be some PR agency that comes up with this big billboard. I want to be there. I want to hear the readers and what they have to say about it and adjust accordingly. I really want to have that hands-on approach with the book because I really believe in the project.
So a lot of people are confused on how to self-publish because there's a lot of options out there on how to do it.
Sure.
What routes did you go?
Yep.
Who was your printer? Or I don't even know about the process because I've just heard so many people doing it.
Right.
How did you decide and what did you pick?
Sure. So first you have to write something like just great. Right? You got to write a good story. And then you have to be smart about it. So I joined a lot of associations. I joined a writers group online and in person.
Local groups, and you showed up and showed them your book and got feedback.
Exactly. And I will say, in my experience, the online writing group was much more supportive because they weren't afraid of your feelings. So if you had something, if their storyline was just off or the arc wasn't right, they would tear it apart.
Like they don't have to see you next week.
Exactly. They don't have to see me next week.
I never even thought about that.
Exactly. So the online group actually was a huge asset for me. And so after I was able to do that, I then went out and I found an editor. And so what you're looking for in an editor is someone who has who specializes in your genre, right? So this is more of a romantic thriller. I don't know if you can tell, but I am funny. Just a little. So I wanted someone who had that experience in those three categories, threw it at this person, and they said, this is amazing. And that was the second thing I was looking for. I wanted somebody who believed in my work and what I was trying to do. I am very religious. Right, I believe in God. I think He is a fabulous being. Right, and so this book is not preachy at all. But the theme of the novel is about dedication to oneself. Right. And so these women are going through some really big things of marriage, things of abuse, things of homosexuality. One of my characters finds out that her husband dibbles and dabbles.
Ooh, never want to hear that.
Correct. And so how she responds is she shoots him. Whoops.
That's a TV show.
You got out easy on the first one, Ronnie.
Exactly.
She didn't shoot you.
Exactly. So in other words, I'm taking my morals and my ideals of women being empowered and loving themselves first before their families, which I find a lot of Southern women do.
Yes.
It's what we do.
And a lot of women forget that.
Absolutely.
They get so caught up in being married, being a mom,
correct,
being a wife, and they want to be good. There's that image that we always have to be good.
Right.
We have to be skinny enough. We have to be pretty enough.
We got to know how to bake a casserole.
God forbid if you don't know how to cook like me.
Hello.
We get judged day in and day out, and we forget who we are.
Absolutely. And that's what this book is all about.
Oh, that's great.
That's what this book is all about in a fun way.
How did you go about picking the online group that you worked with?
Again, research. I wanted to make sure that I found something that was credible, right? So if I'm going to pay to be a part of this association, I'm not going to do a rinky-dink situation where just anyone can post. I was looking for some requirements. So before you can even post work, you have to read the work of others, right? Exactly. And so you can set up, what your genre is. So again, romantic, drama, thriller, fiction categories. I look for other authors within my group that wrote in that category, right? And then started reading what they had to say, started critiquing their work. And once you build up a certain amount of points, or rather reputation, then you can start posting your work. And I thought that was really cool.
So how did you pick, I guess, who was actually going to publish or print your book?
Yeah. So e-books are huge right now. I am a huge e-reader. I don't buy books anymore, and that's horrible.
The way it's going.
It's horrible. It's horrible. So with that said, I looked at Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, as well as Amazon, and so those are the big names in town. It used to be that it was actually right now in the world of the physical, there are three big publishing houses, right? Well, right now there are three big ebook publishing houses, which is Smashwords, Amazon, and Kindle.
Amazon, is that CreateSpace or is that?
That is CreateSpace, and then you have Kobo, but Kobo is. It does well, but it's a bigger investment. I'll put it that way. You have to really advertise and market yourself on Kobo.
So we are going to go for a break. Thank you. It's NK Navarro in-house to talk about her new book called Everdeen. And we'll be back with you to get some more tips on publishing after this break.
Love it.
This week on The Pulse with Carlos Davis, we will be interviewing Heidi Drummond of the J. Hilburn Collection on professional image in the workplace. We will also have our Push It Forward segment where we will allow you to call in and pitch your business to your fellow Pulse family listeners. So tune in this Thursday at 11 a.m. to The Pulse with Carlos Davis, right here on WGIV 103.3, the soul of Charlotte.
Hi everyone, join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m., helping you achieve your dreams faster and take your business to the next level. This world's not going to slow down, so why should you? Join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WGIV, the soul of Charlotte.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What up, Charlotte? This is Beezy. Tune in each and every Saturday night at 8 p.m. for Hip Hop Hysteria with me, Beezy Baby, as your host. Playing your favorite hip hop, new and old school, it's the Hip Hop Takeover. With guest DJs each and every Saturday night. So while you figuring out what you're wearing, let me help you get your mind right. At 8 p.m. every Saturday night on the Soul of Charlotte, WGIV. Let's go!
Welcome back to Accelerate for Life. We're sitting in-house with NK Navarro discussing her new book, Everdeen. You self-published your book. We were talking about that before the break. So once you've self-published, now you're going back to the traditional route because this is the big thing that people is getting the word out about your book.
Right.
So to PR or not to PR?
That is the question. Absolutely PR.
Hire a PR.
Hire a consultant. If you can't afford an agency, a good agency, hire a consultant who would just kind of map out your plan. Sit you down and say, okay, let's talk about a strategy, and you have to put the elbow grease into, knocking out the action items in said strategy. All about getting PR, because if people don't know what this amazing thing you've created, how is your story going to be told? I think all writers agree that the characters that they create is not for gains. It's because these characters have spoken to them. They've done so much work and wordsmithing and crafting and getting this perfect thing. And so for it to just sit on the shelf is like devastating. It's like not feeding a baby and putting them in polka dots. It's just wrong, right? So you got to get it out. And so a PR agency, absolutely, and that's a great investment.
So we're going to be seeing you at some Barnes and Nobles soon. And
so that's
some book
the
readings.
Hope, Prayer, and Dream, some Barnes and Nobles. I definitely want to get in some women's groups, and definitely I'm trying to go back home. Little Hilton Head time, getting in some of those bookstores and all of that good stuff. So good things to come.
Wants to have you come speak, how will they get in touch with you? If anybody wants NK Navarro to come and speak about her book, Everdeen, and the process of writing and publishing, so a lot of people have questions about that.
Sure.
How can they get in touch with you?
They can go to nknavarro.com or follow me on Twitter at AuthorNK, or go to Facebook, Author NK Navarro. You can just Google me. I'm everywhere.
And it's Navarro.
Correct.
Is Navarro.
Correct.
What's next for you? Coming up.
What's next for me? So the second book of this series hopefully will be out 18 months or so from now.
Depends on how disciplined you are.
Correct. Also, I'm getting into a lot of, again, with my philanthropy, I am going to be helping out in a small town called Orangeburg, South Carolina. They're doing a youth rally, so I'm definitely trying to help out there. And then also, it's this amazing group called Green Screen Comedy that's here local in Charlotte that I'm helping them to get off the ground and do bigger things and the great things that they're already doing. And their website is gscomedy.com.
Wow.
She's got a lot going on. She's a singer. I looked at her. I said, Nikki, I said, do you sing by chance? And she says, why, yes, I do. We'll bring you back and sing. And by the way, on your next book.
Yes, lover.
I'm thinking, wow, Hold up.
I knew that was going to throw you off.
That just made my day. But
way to get a man to stop. Jay's over there fanning himself.
So does this mean I can come back on the show?
You know what?
Love it.
You might, because it talks about sex, adultery, gossip, welcome to everything, and I'm thinking you need a little Hawaiian character in that.
Ayo.
It's all about you.
Correct. It is all about me, Denise. This is how the party goes.
And sometimes you just need a little island loving and in
all
that
right.
mix there in
all
the
right.
Carolina. I'm just throwing that out.
Are you trying to become a character in her book?
Here's
her
the
next
thing.
book?
I am a character.
I love a little self-plug. I'm not afraid of that.
Ta-da!
All right, so the Mac Attack is going to go out on break now. Thanks for listening to Accelerate for Life and joining us for NK Navarro discussing her book Everdeen. And check her at our website, nknavarro.com. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with John Waller, the Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, John Waller will be joining us, so stay tuned. Cool stuff for you business professionals out there and networking, good ways to keep in touch with others.
What's up, everybody? This is comedian Nick Lewis. Want to invite you to listen in every Tuesday night from 10 to 11 on WGIV with Mirth Entertainment. I got my girl, Cheryl B, that's going to be in the building. Of course, the DJ Infamy. I call him DJ I. This is Nick Lewis. Every Tuesday night, 10 to 11. That's Mirth Entertainment. And definitely check out the 1040 Showcase every Tuesday night for new artists. If you're a new artist and you got material, check it in to get further information on how to showcase on Mirth Entertainment. 10 to 11 every Tuesday night.
Sean Rocky Gastonia. You asked for it, so we're gonna give it to you.
You think you know sport? You don't know sport.
Let's talk sports with Ivan Key.
Ivan Key is like a walking sports almanac.
It's rough, it's raw, it's real.
I'm of the opinion, hands down, LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, and I got the facts to prove it.
Let's talk sports. Fridays at 1 p.m. with Ivan Key on the Soul of Charlotte. WGIB.
You are listening to Accelerate for Life on WGIV 103.3 FM, 1370 AM. Thanks for joining us today. This has been an exciting
yes,
Wednesday.
Yes, it has. It's been a fun-filled hour. Lots of great information out there, and I'm just really happy that our guests have been able to join us, and quite honestly, having an audience to listen to that. Very, very cool to be able to help people to accelerate forward in their lives. And right now, I want to introduce John Waller. John has been in sales since the 1970s. He's made over 25,000 phone calls. Hundreds of been in person, cold calls, and God only knows how many appointments in person on the phone. He's worked as a sales trainer to share his abilities with others. And much of his success in sales, I guess, comes from the use of his contact manager and being able to manage relationships better. I don't know about you, Denise. How do you manage your contacts?
We just had this conversation, and I was asking you about contact management apps and stuff for my phone. But when I was putting them in, it was so laborious. I had like 20 business cards, and I had to sit there and manually put them all in. And I thought, there has to be a better way.
And that's the thing when you network, and you're meeting with people, you meet so many people, and so many times though that you don't remember all their contact information or even remember to put their business card in, and so your prospects basically fall through the cracks. Well, John, he's been an avid techie. And he's just like me. Like I said, John's on the West Coast. He's co-founder of the Silicon Valley Palm Users Group, which used to meet at Palm for several years, helped to tweak the contact manager known as Contact Hero, which he'll be talking about, which is one of the sales tools today. And his purpose today on Accelerate for Life is to share some tips and tricks that he's learned along the way on his journey so he can rent his experience for nothing versus paying 100% of it yourself. Besides this show, he speaks to several hundred salespeople a month. And so if you've been out there, you may have been to one of his seminars, and he has over 900 listeners just in this month alone, helping business professionals. And he's also currently the ambassador chair for the Santa Clara Chamber of Commerce, as well as being the current ambassador for the year for the last 2 years. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, what a great intro, Ronnie. Just the way I wrote it. That was awesome.
Now, John, you're Inspector Gadget. Why do they call you Inspector Gadget? If I know why, but why don't you tell everyone else why?
Well, because I'm a lot like you, except I'm on the left coast and you're on the right coast. And just I've always been a techie person, and even at jobs like in construction, I would be there with my PDAs, and a PDA is the forerunner of a WDA, and some of your listeners will get the difference in a PDA. PDA, of course, is a personal digital assistant, which is what the Palms were back in 1996, 1997, and then when Jeff and Donna and Ed left Palm, and they started a little company called Handspring, which is where you mentioned the Silicon Valley Palm Users Group. Our second meeting after the first one I had in April of 2000 was at a Carl's Jr.'s. We had 29 people crammed into the back room of a Carl's Jr.'s, and then our second meeting was at Handspring, and Handspring was the baby that came out of the Palm. When the Palm got started, Jeff Hawkins and Don and Ed Corrigan, who are the founders of Palm, started Handspring. It was similar to a Palm, but it had a hole in the head of it, and this was so you could put different additional devices in the head of this device, and so that was where email came out of, and then they had modules. An email module, and then they had a phone module, and then from that was born the Trio 300, the
and John,
Trio
just so
600.
Everyone here online, just so you know, John is very deeply involved with the Palm and other devices, and I used to actually use that. I used to be at the Pentagon, worked there for the Secretary of Defense.
Oh, stop the plug. Good grief.
No, I'm just saying that while I was there working at the Pentagon.
Next, I'm getting my name. I'm getting a nickname.
Having these devices was really big. Everyone wanted to have these Palm devices, and which now I'm looking at you and Nakia working on your phones, which are the result of these devices that people are using now more than just for calling.
Palm Generation 4.
That's right. This is the literal the babies. These are the grandchildren, John. These iPhones and Androids.
Well, yeah, because when you had a Palm seat, nobody, except for you, Ronnie, I would ask people. I would go out, and Palm hired me to go in and train their people how to use their device, I would do classes at Palm and Palm Source. They were divided. Palm was the hardware, and Palm Source was the software. I would ask people, how many apps are there currently in the App Store? And nobody would know. And at that time, we're talking between 70 and 100,000 apps for the Palm device. And of course, now there's well over 500,000 for the iPhone. And that was just fun because that was, you guys, that was 13 years ago. That was back in the day.
13 years. That's why I said these devices you're working on right now, we use them all the time, but
and everybody's got to see. Nobody had. See, the thing is nobody had. I would look at people, and nobody was carrying around. Nowadays, young women, everybody's carrying what they're doing. They walk somewhere, they've got their iPhone or their Droid in their hand. 13 years ago, you would never see somebody carrying a Trail 600 or a Trail 650 in their hand with apps. And now everybody leaves home with their email and their phone. It's amazing. It makes my head explode. I have to walk around with duct tape. Yeah, it's nuts.
And we've come so fast. Like I can't imagine living life without my iPhone. I check the internet constantly. I check Facebook. I check Twitter. I check email.
Yeah.
I have 3 email accounts on my phone. It's great.
Think about it. One of the biggest issues people have when they're switching phones, everyone has a smartphone now. We know smartphone use is grown 55% annually in terms of growth rate. So the number of people browsing products and services by smartphone will eclipse desktops or laptops, looking for products and services by the end of this year. And so people have their phones with them. I think the stat was 33% of people actually admitted they use their phone while they're in the restrooms.
I'm not one of those.
Of course. It's quiet time. It's quiet time.
So so marketing to people on their phones, People have with their phones with them almost 24 hours a day, even when they're sleeping.
Ronnie,
if
you're a salesperson, okay, here's the tip of the day. Here's number one golden nugget is, I know we're up against the clock here, is if you have VETO, and VETO is an acronym for very important top officer. If you have VETO's cell phone number, you own them. You can follow up with them through social media, through texticizing them. You're going to be able to get in touch with them, or you just fire them as a prospect if they're not responsive, and just let them go away. But if you have their cell phone number, you can text them. Okay, I came up with a thing I call lumpy texting. I used it with Les Brown, the motivator, and so I would send a picture of my granddaughter, and I would text it to him because he's got like 7 or 8 grandchildren, and I would send a picture of my granddaughter to Les and say, Les, my grandpa really wants to return his call. And I would text that to Les with a picture of my granddaughter. And it's going to hit him in the heartstrings because he's a grandpa. That's lumpy texting. And what lumpy mail is and we all love lumpy mail. When you get a package in the mail, it's the first thing you dive into when you get home or to your office. Right. It's because it's a package, it's a cassette or a CD or whatever it is that you ordered. That's lumpy mail. So people love lumpy mail. They love lumpy email. They love lumpy text because there's something in there for them to see. So utilize that. Like when Ronnie wants to get in touch with me, Messenger is so cool on Facebook because I've got Windows 8 on my laptop, and I got one from a guy yesterday that wants to be power partners with me. His Messenger thing shows up on my laptop and it shows up on my phone at the same time. So utilize social media to get in touch with the people that you want to talk to, that you want them to return your call. Social media is huge, and you've got to remember, very important top officers, everybody's got a smartphone. If they're not returning your calls, it's because they're dogging you. It's not because they didn't get your email. Like somebody said, they've got 3 email things on their phone. Of course you do.
Right.
It's just so if somebody's not returning your call after 3 or 4 emails, try social media. Tweet them, Facebook them, and find out who somebody is. Find out what their bio is on LinkedIn. I got a lead yesterday from my boss.
Hey, John, tell us about that lead right after this break. Again, we're with John Waller, the Inspector Gadget, out on West Coast time right now. He's going to be filling us in more on Contact Hero and a few more tips.
And now coming to the stage, Rockefeller Almighty.
So you want your degree in lockology. You say you want to be the top lockologist. Well, just who are you locking with? You see, if you're not locking with Rockefeller, then you're not locking at all. Pass the ball so we can lock so tight bald heads wanna find me. Dreadlock society, none of y'all can't see me. Rockefeller Almighty. Now repeat after me. Let it grow.
Let it grow. Let it grow.
And then we twist.
And then we twist.
And let it hang.
And let it hang.
What we call that?
It's a dreadlock thing.
Good night. Rockefeller Lock and Twist Butter and Lock and Twist Gel. Available at RazakProducts.com and all beauty supply stores everywhere. Get locked up. Razak.
Hi everyone, join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m., helping you achieve your dreams faster and take your business to the next level. This world's not going to slow down, so why should you? Join me, Denise Mackey, and Ronnie Tsunami for Accelerate for Life every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WGIV, the soul of Charlotte.
All right, and we're back. Thanks for joining us back for Accelerate for Life. And just make sure you check out our website. If you have any comments about the guests that we had today, or you want to get in touch with them and somehow you forgot their contact information, go to accelerateforlife.com.
And we're back with John Waller. John, now understanding with all your sales training, you have a an app actually for smartphones called Contact Hero that helps people. Fill us in on what Contact Hero can do for a salesperson.
Okay, probably the three main benefits, Ronnie, is of having a contact manager app on your phone is it gives you access to the phone numbers and the names and the history information of when you've called somebody, left them a voicemail message, or what your last conversation was. Because if you're making 600 dials a day, your brain turns to mush and you can't remember what you said at 8:30 in the morning and it's 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. It gives you all the information from the phone calls you made previously in your phone. So you can just tap the contact, tap the phone number, and it's going to dial right from your iPhone. It's going to dial that contact, and there you are. You're talking to them. No searching for their phone number. Bam, it's right there. Number two benefit is having instant access to who they are. I've got 8,200 people in my contact manager, and they reside in the cloud. So if my phone takes a nosedive, or if I want to update next month to get the iPhone 6 or whatever, it's in the cloud. I don't have to bring all this stuff over into my phone. It's up in the sky. Right. That's the second benefit of the application. Third benefit is having all this information at one spot. It's clean, it's neat, it's organized, and we even have reminders on there. You can set alarms to remind you to call somebody so that you don't forget. And the best thing about a contact manager is people not falling through the cracks. The fortune is in the follow-up. I got a check 14 years ago, April, for $20,000 for making 4 phone calls for closing a $113,000 deal. Because the president of the company, he said to me, John, you're sitting here because you followed up. And that was all I did. I had to be in Phoenix anyway for a sales conference. The guy doing the sales training is the guy I beat out for the deal because the president of the company said, you're here because this guy did not follow up.
Gotcha. So that follow-up is definitely critical. And
yes.
Website, John, what's the website that they can actually take a look at this app and view that?
It's a free 30-day trial that can go to www.contacthero.com.